We are at the exhibition of the Nkata Podcast project that I've been putting together since 2020. This is the first time that I am exhibiting the conversation, basically having it on display. And we are at the n.b.k. n.b.k is Neuer Berliner Kunstverein. This installation that you're seeing here will be of 5 conversations selected from the project Art and Processes, Nkata Podcast, Art and Processes. So these are artists, African artists, who by their disposition and the way of moving in the world, I think of them as remapping and changing the cartography of the world by the way they have been moving. And this is something that is a running thread across all the conversations. They give us a sense of that need to shift the ground under our feet, the ground that has been ossified by the way borders have been made, the geopolitics of the world. They come from Africa, but they have moved in myriad ways across the world. I've also worked with them, and oftentimes when people ask me, what is the power of art? I say the fact that an idea or an artistic concept can actually move you across place and time in that way. And I think of my work as participating in that reimagining the cartography of the world. So that's why there's so much emphasis on movement, on borders, on way of being in the world and the aesthetics of it. It was basically me who convened these artists. Jihan El Sahiri, a filmmaker, Ologbibe, a visual artist and a critic. And then you have Koyoku, who is a curator, but also the director of the Zai Smoker in Cape Town, South Africa. Otobon Kalga, a visual artist and a very, very powerful one at that. And then there's Akimbode Akimbi, a Berlin-based photographer, has been living in Germany for about 50 years. He's also a curator, a lecturer, and again, a mentor to so many of us, our young artists. In fact, so much that I think of him as a mentor of mentors. They all have that thing about leading the way, first of all, and becoming or being this beacon and showing the way. But in their own right, they're also pillars of what we will call contemporary artistic practices and thinking. But at the same time, they're also mentors and mentors of mentors. For me, this is a legacy project. It is my way of archiving these voices that are very much important in the contemporary artistic history of Africa. And it's an ongoing project. The idea is for me to even get up to like 100 voices. These are very monographic conversations in the sense that there's enough space for them to really give us a sense of the length and breadth of how they have moved in the world, starting from, when they were young. Some of them will start with their parents. Some of them will talk about something that came before they got into art and how they got into art and what inspired that. They also give us a sense of their future, what drives them, what keeps them going. They give us practical sense of what motivates and what inspires their artistic urges. It's not just making art and hanging it in a space or constantly contending or dealing with artistic institutions all over the world. No, there is really something that is propelling them and urging them forward. And this is something that I wanted to put here so that the audience can get a sense of that. It's also about the aura that they create with the conversation. It's calm and almost like very soothing, but there's always these nuggets of wisdom as well. So I was thinking about not only the content of the conversation, but the form, the aesthetics of it. Berlin, at this point in time, we feel like there's a lot of tension, because of all the politics and, this fear in the air. I want people to come in here and feel, after listening to them, get a sense of an assuring voice. And listen to people who have crisscrossed the world through their artistic ideas, through their sense of optimism through what they make. Again, this is something that is a running thread across all of them. They carry this sense of optimism, even with everything that they have been through. Their disposition is one of optimism, that you keep going, that you keep working, you keep the dialectics between the possible and the impossible open-ended. But also underneath all of it is they always reference the need for thinking about posterity, those who come after. And I'm very, very much in line with them in that, because I feel like no matter what ideas we're having in our time, no matter how optimistic we are, it is actually tenable, it is achievable. It's just that it will not happen in our time. It might not happen in our time. And when it comes to Africans, we should not allow our imaginations to be clipped. Because what's also very, very important in our time is not just about solving the Africa problem, but what's most important for me is also that we get to the point where as Africans, that we begin to celebrate our imagination, the celebration of our spirit and of our imagination. So art has to also become that, where it is about the celebration of one's imagination. Because there's not really a true emancipation without coming to that point where your life is simply a celebration of what it means to be a human being. And these voices give you a sense that even after they have discussed all the travails and all the challenges, they still take you forward into the future in that sense. The idea of the installation is not for people to sit through it. Each conversation is at least 1 hour, 30 minutes. So the idea is, first of all, to give those who are going to visit this exhibition a listening experience within this space, but hopefully that they will find a need to go to the wall and scan the QR codes there and take the conversation with them. I like this idea that it will start from here, but also rejoin platform that has been the main form of dissemination of this project, which is online on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other part. That's actually where this work has existed. My way of making art is not necessarily to engage the viewer. I like this idea of putting knowledge in the air. It just infuses into already what you know, enhances it, adds some spice to it, and you take it with you as a memory, as an experience. I'm not so into that kind of like feedback to me from the audience, kind of. I'm not so much into that. I don't even want to know how many people came in to listen to this or to get the statistics of it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen maybe during, the exhibition, which is here until the 28th of April, or it's going to happen at a later time, 1 year, 2, 3 years from now. Somebody says, hey, I saw that exhibition. There's so many ways. And for me also, that's the poetry of it. There's so many ways that this feedback could actually take place. Just like the lines that we're seeing here in a spiral, it could take that form, and I'm very, very happy with that. My own part is to make sure that we do this, first of all, together. Me and the curators and everyone working, Natasha behind the camera, that we are weaving this together harmoniously, and we just put it here. The rest, as we say, is history. Yeah. That's it. Thank you.